Hey, everybody, we're going to start. Okay, guest, let me start the show. Well, yeah, it's the Recruiting Animals Show. The date is February. What is it? What's the date today?
10th.
The 10th, 2021. I'm still new on Zoom, but we've got a chief technical officer here for the first time. And it looks like Jerry is here. He usually, when he comes on a video show, he shows his gun rack. That's okay with me, Jer. If that's what you want, that's okay. He hasn't even turned on his sound. He's just.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now. He's lurking.
Then why did you say I haven't turned on the sound?
Well, you hadn't said a word. You didn't
this
say
is why
hello.
I don't come on this show as often as I should. You start off just telling lies.
Mess, man.
Okay, that's why, Jerry. Yeah, you've got to have a reason.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, this guy, Mark, the thing is, I usually have my questions and stuff put on this other screen. I'm all screwed up. But anyway, I remember he's a chief technical officer, and he wrote a book on give me the name of the book.
The Career Toolkit, Essential Skills for Success That No One Taught You.
Okay, so we're going to plug his book, okay, right throughout the show. But really, what he said on Twitter that he's here for is to teach us what's wrong with recruiting. And this guy, he's unique. He's got a nasty message to recruiters on his LinkedIn profile. And I'll read that to you. Just give me a second to find. I told you. He says, if you're a recruiter sending me a candidate, read to the bottom of any job post first. I don't know what terrible thing you've got at the bottom, recruiters out or something like that, okay? And then he says, if you're a recruiter trying to place me, first ask yourself if you honestly think this is the right next career step. And he goes on and blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, this goes on. At the end, there's a warning, okay? I maintain a blacklist of recruiters and vendors who ignore this.
What you got
and when
there, man?
you need a candidate or a product, I exclude doing business with those companies, okay? So you're not Mr. Nice Guy, are you, Mark?
I'm not, because I have dealt with over 500 recruiters as a candidate, as a hiring manager, and it's been mostly a negative experience. The majority of people I've dealt with were wasting my time. There were some that add value, but most did not. And so I've got to create a strong filter for that.
Okay.
Have you ever dealt with techies? Let's all talk about them for the next 20 years and just knock on them for, and then just judge all of them based on the experience that I've had.
I'm not saying all recruiters are bad.
Yes, you are. Oh, yeah. Doesn't it sound like he's saying 90% of them? Oh, not all, only 90%. Right?
I would agree. I would agree with that number.
Okay.
Dude. Anybody can get in.
Seriously.
And there's no real training.
If I were a hiring manager, it would drive me nuts. I see these numb nuts all over the place. And I would want to find some way to get him to just not even ever call me.
Yeah, I just want to point out to everybody, look how authentic Gary is. He didn't even comb his hair to come on the show, okay?
Hey, don't bite your tongue there, buddy.
Yeah,
luckily I've got hair.
Yeah, well, that's true, Jer. Hi, Kendra.
It's fading fast, though, baby. Oh my goodness.
Really? Okay. Kendra, I want to say hi to Kendra.
That recruiting lifestyle.
Sometimes she's works in a pink office. Maybe she doesn't like to show that. Now the thing is, now that there she goes. Now that we're on Zoom, I have to see what's going on, but now I can't.
Jerry's making me hungry.
I have to read. Okay. You know what? Quick question, sort of an offbeat question. This guy is a dance champion. Mark, he likes to call himself Hershey, okay? And I like that. I told him I like people who like to be called by nicknames, okay? I don't like people who are pretentious and pompous and they have to be called Dr. Hershberg or whatever your title is. I don't like that. He's willing to... He's willing to be called. She has no right to call herself doctor. Okay, but he's not calling himself doctor.
Call herself whatever she wants.
He's a master's. He's got a master's of engineering. He's got a master's of engineering. Okay, and actually, okay, you know what? He created for his thesis some kind of online voting system. So if we have some time, we can ask him about the Dominion software scandal. But let's put that. I got a different irrelevant question to start off with. You are a ballroom dance champion. Mark, am I right? Hershey.
Former, retired, yes.
Okay. But I got a question. With all of the confusion or opening up or broad range of sexual identities today, has that changed ballroom dancing? Who leads? What if both partners are non-binary?
Well, that's actually a good question. There have been same-sex couples for a number of years, and one of the challenges we had, I used to be on the committee that oversaw ballroom dancing in the U.S. for the collegiate level. There were issues at some colleges. You don't always have exactly the same number of men and women on the team, and people were comfortable with two women dancing, but not comfortable with two men dancing together. And this was an issue for a while. We at the MIT team said, "Screw you! We're going to let anyone who wants to dance." We had, I remember, an amazing male-male couple that the audience loved. The Wall Street.
Okay, so it's straightforward. It's straightforward. Jerry, I want to say, is that your kitchen or a fake background like mine and Michael G. Cox?
That's my kitchen. I'm warming up some chili.
It's pretty nice. Okay, I like it better than the fake ones. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, this guy emailed me just before the show. He said recruiting spam hurts everybody. It's a tragedy. Okay. What are you talking about? What do you mean? I'll give you a chance to explain.
Sure. I get
tragedy. It's a tragedy.
Tragedy of the commons. So literally just today, I got 3 emails from recruiters for completely inappropriate jobs. If you look at my background, I've been a CTO for many years, and they're saying, "Ooh, we have a Java developer in North Carolina. Here's some entry-level job in Florida." And I'm a CTO in New York, right? So I'm getting spam. And what happens is we start to say, these recruiters are wasting my time, because if 90% of them are sending me spam, I don't have time to figure out which 10% are the good ones. And so I'm just going to ignore it all at the outset.
Can you tell anything just by who's sending it and what the subject line is?
If it says urgent, that's usually a flag. If it says urgent, it is 99%.
Wait, is that a green flag or a red flag?
That's a red flag.
Okay, gotcha. I was about to implement that.
No, Jerry, that was a good question. What then? If that's what you hate, which are there any? Because we've talked to every recruiter here. We asked them the same questions. What subject line do you use, right? And it's a wide range. So Jerry got you to say, "I hate urgent." What do you like in the subject line?
What I like is, I am going to offer you something of value. Here is the thing. Every recruiter, to a first order, looks the same. Now, I don't mean that you are, but take, for example, auto repair, right? We all say, "Oh, I need my car fixed."
Yeah.
You tell, if I line up 100 auto mechanics, who's better? If I just tell you they're each an auto mechanic.
Yeah.
You don't know, right? You're like, "Oh, I have to go meet them. I have to hear from people. Are they good?" So recruiters, to a first order, look the same. They say, "Look, I can recruit." So, "Oh, it won't even cost you anything. I'm contingency." Yes, I know. It will cost me time if you're bad. It'll cost me time to deal with you. So you're coming in asking, saying, "Mark, I want you to give me something of value, your time." Right? I don't have a lot of time. I'm a busy hiring man.
Well, you're making a long speech now. Get to the point. I asked you what the subject line is for the email.
Here's the subject line is, "I want to share some information with you. I have information that will help you." That is what I want to see.
Kendra, are you awake? Oh, she's on mute. It's okay. Michael G.
Hey,
Cox.
by the way, Kendra's son used to dance ballroom at MIT.
How do you know?
There's a chat function.
Oh, she put it in the chat.
Zoom.
I'm too busy.
Who's your son? I probably know him.
Mark, my son, Michael's got a big crush on my son. He went to MIT for particle nuclear physics and got a PhD.
I have a crush on his intellect, okay? I don't want to dance with him. Sorry, everybody. You know, I'm not being sexist. I just don't want to.
You don't have to be too defensive, Animal.
He's got a fiance. Okay,
not cool.
He's got a beautiful fiance. Okay, so do you know him? Do you know her son?
I don't.
No, you don't. Okay. What? So give us that line again. "I've got something special for you." You would react to that?
I want to give you something of value to you, right? That's what I have information for you. I have something that will help you. Because every recruiter is coming saying,
"Kelly, who's causing that noise?" It's got to be, who is
Kelly.
it? Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I
You
love
can mute
Kelly.
people, by the
I
way.
love Kelly. I met Kelly. Okay, she's very nice. She paid for my supper. But I don't want her noise. Okay, somebody's making noise here.
Mark, I really don't think that that's going to work. I mean, if you received that and it didn't have any information that you actually want, then it wouldn't work. And if that happens enough, every time you see that heading, it's not going to work.
Let
I
me
think kind of like in recruit,
it's not the vague, I have something you want, because bullshit. When you say, I am offering you X, here's one thing that X could be. Here's information on quarterly salary trends. You want to give that to me? Great. I want to see that. I'm a hiring manager. I got to pay attention to this. You probably see a lot more than I do. Give me that information. I will open that email. I will pay attention.
Okay, it sounds like a come on, but maybe he's right. But have you ever received a subject line like that, or is that something you would do if you were a recruiter?
I haven't
talking
received
hypotheticals or reality.
I haven't received that from a recruiter. I have received it from other vendors who also send me lots of spam.
Okay, the spam. But do you open those that I got something special for you?
Well, when someone says, here's the following,
Mm-hmm.
and if what that is something I want, right? Like when McKinsey sends out, hey, here's, an update on best security products that we've evaluated. You go, oh, I should pay attention to that. That's valuable to me. Maybe it's not something I care about and then I ignore it, but if it is, I will open that email.
Okay. Kendra used to work for them. Okay. Kelly, I'm sorry I maligned you, Kelly. Okay. You're muted and the noise is still there. I think it must be Jerry or maybe Michael. He's on the phone. Sorry. I'm sorry, Hershey. I hate those background noises and I didn't think
I'm
we were
muted.
gonna have him here. Okay, then it's you know who. The good old boy in his kitchen. Or maybe it's me. I don't know. Okay, so in the body of the email, what should go there for a cold recruiting? You're getting an email from Jerry, okay, or me, or Mike, or anybody, and so they've said this. I got something, some good news for you. Whatever, hallelujah in the subject line. What do you want to see in the body?
I want you to give me something.
I'm looking to hire somebody. I want to recruit you.
That's what you want. But 20 people want that from me. So how do I pick, right? When you're a girl at a bar and you have 20 guys who all line up and say, "Can I buy you a beer?" How do you as the girl pick which one of the 20?
You can see what he looks like, right?
Okay, so you go for the most attractive guy, right? Or maybe the guy wearing the Rolex watch who's the most rich, or there's something. Some initial indicator where we say, I have 20 people who all want to give me the same thing. There is something one of these has that makes them stand out among the others. Attractiveness, money, height.
The approach.
That's what we're experiencing.
So I think Michael G. Cox is actually doing that kind of candidate development without a specific job in mind. Am I right that you've been doing that?
Yeah, because I know I'm in 5 years or 20 years, I'm going to be in sales recruiting. And that's not going to change. So I'm connecting with individuals.
So what's in
that
your
are sales executives.
Just give this. I want Mark to hear what you do. What's noise? Okay, what's in your subject line, Michael G. Cox? If you're sending like what Danny Cahill calls an institutional marketing email.
If I'm connecting with individuals that are prospective candidates or clients in the future, it's through LinkedIn. There is no subject line, and it's just a connection request. Okay. And it's basically saying, hey, Mark, although having connections in common is a good thing, I'd welcome the opportunity to connect directly with a fellow devotee to the sales industry. Have a good one. And that's it. Then that's it. And look, dude, it's maybe 35% response rate, sometimes better than that, but I'm not changing that. And eventually we're going to have so many connections in common that it's going to be obvious that we should be connected, because I'm only doing that with second degree connections. So I can say, hey, we've got connections in common. And then the second message that I send is, hey, Mark, or not even that. It's just, hey man, thanks for connecting. And that's it. And then maybe a week later, if he's in some sort of a messaging campaign, a week later, if I'm trying to make him a candidate or a a client, there's a follow-up message that says something of value. And it's probably focused in on pain that industry is experiencing.
Michael's doing exactly right. You don't show up and say, "Hi, stranger, give me something." "Hi, stranger, I'm trying to sell to you." You show up and say, "Hi, how can I help you?" That's going to get their response.
Okay, so that in theory, that sounds good. Okay, but when you get a job from your hiring manager, if you're inside, or from your client, you might have to contact new people. It's not just your existing network of
You're right.
buddies.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And in that situation, it's basically, hey, although having connections is common, and you go through the whole thing. And then a day later, "Hey man, thanks for connecting." And then a day later is, look, one of the dangers of being connected with a sales recruiter is that from time to time, you'll receive an alert about a job. Now check out the video, a 2-minute video that I created for you. It's below. Let me know if you're interested in learning more. And that's
Michael
it.
G. Cox, we're talking about hitting someone the first time. You don't have tons of weeks to.
No, okay. Then that just proves that you should have been doing the work that I was just telling you
don't
about.
give me that crap.
3 years ago.
Right.
That's baloney.
3,
okay?
5,
it's
10
so
years
unrealistic.
ago, dude.
Kelly, do you want to say
hey,
something?
Dude, you know what? If you're just barely jumping into this game, then yes, you have to sound desperate.
You got to recruit. You got to go in and get them, okay? You can't always build a network and then recruit from your the network you've been nurturing, pipeline you've been nurturing over.
If you're behind the 8 ball, yes, you have to be more direct, and it's just you're that basically means you're relying on pickup lines and a whole lot of hope.
Yeah, pickup lines. Okay, yeah. Okay, the guy's a ballroom dancer. He must know all about that. I wish Jerry was on, but Jerry does actually work with, as I understand it, a stable of contract IT guys. If he was here, he would tell me I'm wrong. Okay, and maybe I am wrong. Okay.
He's enjoying his chili.
Yeah, or whatever he's doing, or combing his hair. Okay, here's what else you say. Recruiters should learn to negotiate.
There he is. Hey, you're unmute. You're muted, man.
Muted.
I'm muted?
Jerry was.
No, Jerry
You muted me, animal.
I didn't mute you.
Background noise.
I didn't mute him. Maybe I should have. Okay, but anyway, we'll see if the noise starts again.
I'm off to the side enjoying my lunch.
Okay, enjoy your lunch. Yeah.
I'll be right over here.
Thank you. Okay. It's better than your gun rack. Okay, looking at your kitchen. Okay. He says, this is what he sent me just a little while before the show. Recruiters should learn to negotiate. Most I've met have zero training. Okay. And what does that mean? I'll let you go off with that, and then before we disagree.
As a candidate, I've had recruiters who have totally blown my negotiation position because they've gone in and they said, "Oh, I went for this. I told them this." I never told you to do that. This is the wrong way to start negotiations. But if you talk to most recruiters, have you ever taken a single negotiation class? And most will tell you no. You spend time negotiating, and yet you have zero training in this. I'm not singling out any one person, right? Perhaps some of the folks on the call do, but many I have met, zero training in negotiations, and yet this is a key part of your job.
Okay, what kind of training are you talking about? And tell me, can somebody who's not a natural negotiator learn to negotiate well?
100%. It is well established. Negotiation training can make you a better negotiator.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? If you see political speakers, most of them are very wooden. Okay. And they've taken training. Some people have got it. The only thing I like about Kamala Harris is when you see her marching with those marching bands and stuff, she's got it. I mean, I find that intriguing. Okay. But most of the people are wooden when they try to be folksy or something like that. They just don't have it. And my guess is that negotiation is the same. Someone like Amy Miller, maybe you'll meet her in the future. Okay. She's a top negotiating recruiter. When when the candidate starts rebelling, they bring her in to close these people. Okay. So hold on. Let me ask you, is there such a thing as a closer as opposed to a non-closer? Because that would prove my point. Some people are natural negotiators and some aren't.
I'm not saying there aren't natural negotiators or natural closers or natural golf players. But we also know, while you have natural golf players, there are also people who did a lot of training and got really good at golf.
Yeah.
And you
Okay.
can get really good at public speaking
Okay.
or negotiating.
What negotiating program do you recommend, if any? And here's something else. If you look on Twitter, there's tons of job hunters, and Kelly might want to get in on this. I'm inviting you, Kelly, if you want. Okay. You're not the noisemaker. They say the worst question is the recruiter says to them, what salary do you want? And they don't want to go first. They think the recruiter's trying to lowball them. Is that a mistake for the recruiter?
It's going to depend first on the field, right? Because we know, for example, in tech, right, there's a shortage of candidates and there are sky-high salaries. On the other hand, when you look at, let's say, marketing, you look at social media, there's a plethora of candidates. And so one of the things you have to look at is what your leverage is. Are you unique or are you one of many? You also have to look at how unique your skills are. For most jobs, you are interchangeable. And frankly, the information's out there. We only worry about going first when the information about the true value is not well known in the market.
How is it out there? Can you go to payscale.com and get really good information about what you should be asking for your services? Okay, well then, how is it out there? What if you're a job hunter? What you're saying is that, first of all, that's a fair question for the recruiter to ask. What do you want? Okay, you're saying that's fair. Am I right?
It's fair for them to ask. It's also fair for you not to answer. Both are fair.
Okay, and so then you're saying that in the research that a job hunter does for the job, and this is a mystery to me, what should they be doing? I mean, but you're saying they can get accurate salary information about what it's fair for them to ask for. How do they do that?
There are sites, as you said, there's like Payscale and salary.com, and they're so-so. There are within industries, typically some industry group will do some research that's usually a little more accurate on salaries.
Where do you get it? How does a job hunter find it?
Know what your industry trade groups are. They're going to put out the research. In tech, for example, Stack Overflow does an annual salary report that has a lot of information, really detailed information. That's publicly available.
And you can tell if you fit into one of their slots. Is that right? You can gauge your own value by what they say. That's for real.
You won't necessarily say, oh, this is exactly me, but you start to say, okay, I'm not quite here, but I'm above there, and you can start to triangulate. You want to know your general range. It's not going to tell you down to the penny.
Okay, there's a Scottish guy, and I don't know why, but they don't mind being characterized as tough negotiators. We've got a company here called Canadian Tire, and they give you out this Canadian Tire money. They used to have a Scotsman on it, right? Like a bargain. I would have been offended, but Stephen O'Donnell, what do you think about recruiters' ability to negotiate? Do they have it or not?
You absolutely have to have it. If you're going to be negotiating with clients on behalf of your candidates, then you got to know where the line is, and you have to be able to push on their behalf. Candidates often can't negotiate well for themselves.
How do they get it then? He's saying they stink, they don't know it, and they haven't taken any training. What kind of training are you talking about? Give us an example. Getting to Yes? I never understood that book, okay?
Well, yeah, I've long since forgotten the training that I've gone through, but essentially you approach every conversation as a negotiation that you want to win.
Yeah, I think he's a natural. This is Stephen O'Donnell. I asked him the question because I think he's a natural, okay? He's a tough cookie. That's my impression. You have to be a bit mean, okay, to be a good negotiator. Michael G. Cox, do you agree with me about that?
No, you just have to know what it is that you're going after and what you believe to be the standard in the market, and what an individual, the level of value that your candidate brings to an opportunity.
Okay, that's a bland. But I've noticed, even though you're a mild-mannered guy, you don't mind saying no in a very cold, emphatic way. Okay, that's what I've noticed on the show. So Hershey here is telling us that you can take a training. What kind of training are you recommending? Because I'm not a good negotiator.
I do recommend classes, because doing exercises.
Who?
If you want a specific class, Harvard Negotiation Project. That's a great program for it.
Is that Harvard? Is that for someone like Kendra's son or someone like me and Jerry? I mean, really, what are we talking about? What's in it?
They're going to teach you the basics of negotiation, how to think about it, how to prep for it. how to do the individual steps of negotiation. You're going to go through lots of exercises.
Okay, but give us one example of what are you talking about? Give us one example that these guys can analyze of what a recruiter is missing. You're saying they're bad negotiators. How? How does that manifest itself?
They will start out by saying, oh, well, here's what the company wants to pay. I've seen this happen. Well, the company says this is the salary. Fine, that's their position. What's the candidate saying? The candidate's saying my salary's up here, right? When the company says this position's 100K and the candidate's saying 120, they go and say, well, we're going to start you at 100. We're going to submit you at 100 and see if we can talk them up. No, submit them at 120 and have the company talk them down. Basic technique. I've seen recruiters screw up time and again.
Does anybody have a comment? I don't even understand what he's saying. Anybody?
If your candidate is saying 120, you need to present them at 130. Because 120 turns into 125 real quick.
You always need overlap.
Right. Too many submit at the 100 thinking, oh, if I don't do what the company says, they're just going to knock them out to begin with. And then you have to negotiate up from the 100.
So you're saying something interesting. Lying is an essential negotiating skill. Okay.
Who are you saying that to?
What? You
Who
just
are you
said
saying
it.
that to?
You just said it. The guy asked for 120. You said he said he wants 130. Okay.
Back up a second there, tough guy. I'm not saying to verbatim tell the company, hey, the candidate just said he has to have 130. See, you don't even understand nuance, dude. Get out of this business.
Steve.
Well said, Jerry.
Steven, okay, but
pisses me off.
Stephen, you have an input or Michael G. Cox about this lying business? I'll give one other example.
Stop it.
Wait a second.
I didn't say lie.
I don't know if I'd call it lying.
Lying is wrong. It's
going to come back. And I'm going to say, here is a fully qualified candidate. I'm projecting a salary is going to be around 130. Hopefully you can stretch for that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he or she told me that they need 130. Come on, dude. You got to play a little card game with these situations.
Like
you don't even know bluffing. Both sides.
Cards bluffing. Yeah. Cards bluffing. I win, Jerry, not you. Okay. What about this situation?
I will not let you say that I'm suggesting to lie, because I'm not.
Okay.
I'm offering my professional goddamn assessment of what it's going to take.
I agree with Jerry on this. It's not lying.
Yeah.
I like the added video.
Yeah. He doesn't even have to criticize me verbally. He can make nasty signs. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, wait a second.
Let the audio record show that you've just been told off.
Yeah. Okay. But hold on. Here's another case where the candidate says, I want to know what you're paying. Okay. How much? And so you've got a range as a recruiter. Everybody says, don't give them the top range. They'll want the top. They'll become fixated on it. Tell them it's worth, like if it's 180 to 190, say 185. Never tell them the truth. Okay. Stephen, what do you say to that?
Prep both sides, find out where their walkaway line is, what they won't go beyond.
How? That's easy to say. How?
Well, yeah. But find out where their walkaway line is, and make sure there's an overlap between what the company will pay in extraordinary circumstances and what the candidate will accept for an amazing job.
Okay. How do you find out their walkaway? Do you say they say, what do you want? Oh, 100. Well, would you take 99? Yeah, I take 99. What about 98? Okay, you work the person down to 90. Is that what you're saying? The salami
you pre-offer the candidate. You pre-offer the candidate, and you say, look, if you try different numbers with them, what would they accept? What would they walk away from?
So that's salami. You slice them down one by one. Is that what you're doing? Talking about? Because I'm not clear. Nobody wants to say. How do you knock him down to find out his walkaway point?
Why are we trying to knock people down, man?
Gosh.
It's also, so here's another common negotiation mistake. You're saying, let's look at salary. Let's
Jerry,
go along the line.
There's a whole package going on. It's not just the salary.
What's that?
And it's
exactly
it's snowing over there.
It's the company, the job, the prospects, the training, the team.
It's it's total compensation. It's your bonus, equity, it's training, it's the role, it's where you're going to go. I don't talk salary. I talk compensation. because good negotiators know you don't focus on a single issue. You focus on multiple issues where you can trade off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Ernie. I see.
Michael, how you doing?
You haven't learned the lesson yet of we try to teach you how to have a nice background. Okay.
I got to deal with Mr. Cox there. He knows.
Okay, but he's a good recruiter. He's a good recruiter and a smart guy as well. Okay, and he's got a nice
I have my
voice,
moments.
a nice voice. Just so you know, Hershey, Stephen O'Donnell is in Glasgow. These two guys over here are in Texas. Jerry's in Indiana. Kendra's in Connecticut. This is an international program.
But
Okay.
who else
I'm
is
in
Texas?
Chicagoland.
Okay.
Ernie's in Chicago.
Are you in
Yeah.
Chicago?
Yep.
I thought you were
815.
down there. Okay, there you go, Chicagoland. Okay, so negotiation. There was one other thing I can't remember, but let me do an ad. Okay, hey everybody, hire Tool, HIRETUAL, the super duper
Nice
sourcing tool.
beaver.
Yeah, look, if you go on Facebook to any of the recruiting groups and you talk to them, you say, what's the best sourcing software? Lots of the big name recruiters are going to be commenting and they're going to say, hire Tool. Jerry, you're making me dizzy. HIRETUAL.com, okay? They bring up the personal, this is a question I want to ask the guest. Personal and work email, personal and work phone numbers, and then they give you an estimate about what this person is earning, who's most likely to leave, and also what Trish Wydurka said, she's a professional sourcer. It'll do a bunch of searches for you at the same time. It'll save you tons of time. Hire Tool. Now, I didn't forget, our guest wrote a book, okay? When should a recruiter, give books out, or when they can't help somebody, refer them, say, you know what, if you're trying to develop your career, this is a book I would recommend. And should they recommend your book at that time?
100%. This is going to help your candidates be more effective and make them more valuable so you can place them and earn more money.
Okay, what's the URL for the book?
Nice pitch.
What's the URL?
thecareertoolkitbook.com. And you can learn about the book, get the free app, or get in touch with me.
Okay, his name is Mark A. Hershberg, HERSCH. That's the trick, is the C, okay? BERG. You can find him on LinkedIn. He's a chief technical officer, specializes in encryption software, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Cybersecurity.
And he'll show you, but don't do what he does, okay? If you want to get a job, don't put it on your LinkedIn profile like he does. I'm going to blacklist you if I don't like you, recruiter. Okay? Don't put that there. Okay.
This comes down to where you are on the spectrum, right? If you're an entry-level person, if you're 20,
Animals definitely on the spectrum.
you need to get lots of people coming to you. When you're at my level and my field, we have more people coming to us than we can handle, and it's usually garbage. We have to filter them out.
Okay. Anybody got a question for the guest? Anybody got a question for the guest, or a topic they want him to comment on? Because or is there something else that you want to, you're burning to talk about? What did I just say I wanted to talk to you about a second ago?
Well, here's a big complaint. I reached out to a whole bunch of other execs.
Reach out is not a good word, but go ahead.
Nobody reads that anymore, man.
Okay, go ahead. Use reach out.
I asked folks, I said, okay, what is bothering you? What's your pet peeve with recruiters? And universally, what they felt, and I feel the same way, is recruiters they don't bother even reading our background. They don't even look at the LinkedIn profile, don't look at the resume, and they just send us noise, right? They send us spam. Take literally 10 seconds to just glance at the LinkedIn profile and say, is this a fit for the candidate? Because otherwise you're wasting their time.
Okay. You know what they're doing? They're doing searches with a big search. Sorry, I belched. You're doing, it wasn't a problem on the phone. Anyway, they're doing searches and they're just sending out a mass email in response to the search.
Of course, and it wastes our time.
Okay, does anybody disagree with that? Anybody want to defend the email blasts? Ernie, do you do that?
No, I don't do email blasts. I tried it a couple of times. I don't get good results out of it. I think you gotta be a little bit more personal, at least in your first one, or at least to let you know that I'll be calling you. and then here I am calling you. But some sort of intro first, but then later on blast them for when they don't answer you. But it's important to make sure that they are a fit for what you're looking for. And even more importantly, if you talk to them and the job goes south, you got to get back to them and tell them, hey, the job's no longer available, just letting you know that you weren't chosen or whatever. But to come back and really treat everybody like a human being. Don't just count them as just blasting and then trying to get no results out of it.
Here's a question. If everybody who's enlightened, like Hershey and Ernie, and I assume everybody else here, I'm not sure, though, we haven't canvassed everybody. If they're all saying, oh, you have to be personal, you have to have a special subject line and, you approach in graduated ways and build a relationship, blah, blah, blah. If this is happening all the time, if it didn't work, no one would be doing it. Am I right? Why are our recruiters doing it? Go ahead, Hershey.
Yeah, it reminds me of being in New York. I see guys honking at women on the street, right? Guys are driving their car, they see an attractive woman, they honk. Now, if honking...
Why do you do that, Mark?
I don't have a car. I gotta get a car before I can do that. If honking didn't work, these guys wouldn't do it, right? Eventually say, this is a waste of my time. They know it works. However,
no way.
It
does not work.
Rarely. It works extremely rarely. And so, yeah, it's what we call an AI. It's a foothill problem. It works a little bit. And so you think, oh, this is working, but it's not going to take you further. And if you want to get further, you need an approach like Ernie's, where you're doing it on a more personal level. And that's how you're going to be a really top.
What do you mean further?
If you want more than 1 out of 100 people respond to me and then they forget about me the moment this is over. If you want to build relationships with people, if you want people to say, here's a good recruiter and refer people to you, you need Ernie's approach.
So there's a bunch of idiots doing it the wrong way and not making any money. And yet the adaptation is to do the wrong thing. I mean, this is very anti-Darwinian.
Well, here's the thing. You've got what, maybe 10, 20 people every single week hitting you up on LinkedIn saying, hey, we do digital marketing. We can take over your social media campaign. And basically what they're selling is this service where we're going to do all of your email outreach and we're going to do all of your LinkedIn messaging for you. And eventually, I think it just gets to the point where maybe you start believing that stuff works. So you give them $100, $200 a month to do this for you. But dude, if it's not working for...
Did he say anything? Michael G. Cox, I gave you such a good intro at the beginning of the show, and now you're just talking in vapid terms. Okay.
There are thousands of people pitching that they can do your email marketing campaigns for you.
Let me bring what about all these Indian companies? Don't come after me, everybody, for identifying the country. There's a lot of Indian recruiters approaching people with email blasts in the United States. Would they be doing that if they weren't successful at all? Mark, Hershey?
I've seen it for a lot of Indian companies, and some non-Indian companies do this. And again, it's the person honking at the girl on the street. It works 1 in 100. But if you want to have a better success rate, you better choose a different approach.
Jerry, don't make noise, okay? If you're going to play do billiards, okay? Why don't you ask a question, Jerry? Why don't you wake up to the show, okay?
Yeah, I'm just soaking it all in there, tough guy.
Okay. What about cold calls? What about cold calls, Mark? Calling you out of the blue on the phone. Remember, Hire Tool, they give you, or they try to give you, a work phone and a personal phone. And yet on Twitter, you'll find saying, oh, recruiter called me at work, wants me to lose my job. Oh, and some other idiot is saying, oh, the recruiter called me on my personal number. Oh, what an invasion of my privacy. And it's the exact same for the email. Oh, he called me, he emailed me at work, or he emailed me at home. It's terrible. What's the best way? Okay, and we know Michael G. Cox does LinkedIn. What do you think is the best way?
Definitely don't email at work, because that's going to their corporate account. I think it's okay to contact someone on their personal phone or...
okay, hold up. Are you responsible for what you receive at work?
It's not that you're not responsible, but if you have either a boss who's a jerk and who is reading your emails, or just
then you should be looking for a job.
They're tipping off your company that you might be looking, right? They're conveying information.
No.
Hold on. If a recruiter sends an email to you at work, how does your boss
I'm gonna get
know?
you fired.
How does your boss know? Is there some kind of software that sends it to him automatically? How does your boss know?
Read your employee agreement. Every company says, by the way, we have the right to read and look at all your emails.
Yeah. Do they do it? Do they do it? That's another question. No, don't operate in hypotheticals here.
In some industries,
companies can set up a filter that alerts whenever somebody sends large documents to outside the organization, receives emails with certain words. You can set all that stuff up.
Yeah, but who sends that in a cold email? Okay, a big document.
No, I'm saying I've seen situations where people send big documents to their home email, and of course it gets flagged.
But more important than whether you're going to work or home is, are you coming with something of value? Did you actually look and say,
okay, so you're abdicating. You're not saying, okay, I don't know how to, I'm going to pretend like I know, but I don't really know what the best way for a recruiter to approach a candidate is. Is that what you're telling us now?
Well, when recruiters reach out to people like myself, executives, and say, here's some mid-level role, you are wasting my time. And whether you're calling or emailing, I don't like it. But if you call and say, hey, here's another executive role, here's a role at your level or above that I think might be of interest to you, because I've looked at your background, I know the industry, and I know this would be appealing. They've done the time to do their homework. Okay, I'll take the call. I'll take the email. It's not an annoyance.
Jerry looks like a king from a Shakespeare play, King Lear or somebody like that. Okay.
Send me your tax money.
Okay, here, what about in the case where you're a new recruiter? Ernie, you haven't said anything. Feel free, though, to butt in, okay?
Yeah, and I will.
Okay, you're a new recruiter, okay, and you get this assignment, and so they can't really tell if the position is not good for you. And what we're advised to do, and lots of, I have to say, women especially, they'll say, look, I am new and I need some feedback. Don't be mad at me. What do you think? And they said the potential candidate, other people will educate them. What do you think about that? Is that terrible? Is it a terrible sin like you're saying it is?
Some people might like the please help me approach. My attitude is, it's not my job to train you in your job. If you don't know how to do your job, you shouldn't be in it. You should know enough to do things, and you should get the help from your own company, and don't waste my time teaching you how to do your job.
Okay, here's a follow-up. Let's say, yeah, I think Mark is probably making too much money for this job, but you know what? It might be interesting to him. Should I approach him anyway?
As long as it's in the ballpark, yes, I think it's worthwhile doing so.
Okay. Anybody want to talk about something? I'm going to do some ads. Anybody?
I was going to say, if you get to Mark's situation of calling him for a job that he's qualified or not, when all you have to do is just tell him, hey, look, it's for you, or maybe you know somebody that's working under you that might be able to use this information based on the conditions that we're at now.
Oh, that's a good question. Hold on. I'm going to do an ad. I want him to. How do you get a referral? What if you go in with your initial pitch is for a referral? And what if you really are looking for referrals? Okay. So let me just do an ad first. PC Recruiter, everybody. If you're a recruiter, they love you. PCRecruiter.net. Okay. That is versatile software. They don't impose a solution on you. You can configure it. Michael G. Cox knows you can customize your recruiting software. And if you don't know how to do it yourself, they're happy to help you. Big or small, they help them all. You can be a recruiter like Jerry wandering around your empty home, okay? Or you can be in a big office. Doesn't matter. Big or small, they help them all. PCRecruiter.net. And the guest has a book, okay, for planning it. I've seen on his videos, it's not just your career, it's planning you've got all kinds of business tips as well, right?
It's negotiation, networking, communication, leadership. It's going to help you be a better recruiter, and it can help your candidates be more successful in their careers.
Okay. And the website for the book is called The Career Toolkit, right?
Essential Skills for Success That No One Taught You. The URL is thecareertoolkitbook.com. There's a bunch of free resources, and you can learn more about the book.
Okay, and he's a guy who doesn't like recruiters, especially. He haven't told us any good stories. He didn't start off saying, "Hold on, recruiting animal, you're making me look like a bad guy. There's some recruiters I love, and I've got great relationships with them. And before we get going, I want you to know that I'm going to give you some examples." You didn't hear that, did you? Okay.
I will tell you a great recruiter story. There's a couple. My friend Andrea, she's my go-to person because we have a long-standing relationship. I've been her candidate. I've been a hiring manager taking her candidates. I had a recruiter early on. Is one of his first hiring. He placed a guy with me. This guy was not a cultural fit for the company. And I was not a good enough manager at this time to understand how to get this guy to fit in with some of the younger folks. There was just a culture clash. This guy quit the company at day 62. Now we had a 30, 60, 90 contract, right? So I owed him for 60 days. I called him up. I said, look, this guy just left. I know I owe you for this. He came back to me and said, you know what? Forget. I know you owe me 5 figures. Don't worry. This was not a good fit. I have known you for years, and it's not about this money. I know we'll do business in the future. Forget this. I didn't do my job getting you a good guy. And in fact, I have sent him 6 figures of business. I've sent him candidates. I've sent him companies over the year because he was not just trying to grab money. He was building a relationship with me. And that's what I want in all my vendors. And
Jerry, come in on this. What did he? Are you still alert?
Yeah, I'm still here.
So what did that recruiter do the right thing? He said he could have billed 5 figures, and he just waved it away. Goodwill.
I've done that before. I did it just last fall.
Uh-huh.
The candidate just wasn't working out, and before maybe I don't know, day 50 or something, day 60, they let him go. So what are we supposed to do? Of course they don't owe you a fee. I mean, how would that even be a second thought? You think we should demand payment and then what?
Well, everybody says I've done my job when I present the slate of candidates. I'm not responsible for what happens down the road. Tons of recruiters will say that, okay? That's why quality of hire is not a good measure of a recruiter. Okay, that's what everybody says.
Well, you're looking at long-term relationships, though. I mean, that's really what's important, because you want to be the person that hiring manager will call when the opportunity arises.
You might be the person that he takes for a sucker. Okay.
Well, a lot of it just depends on your relationship with him, because if you have that kind of relationship that Mark is talking about, you're not just talking to him about a job. You're talking to him about how Mark's doing, how's the family, how's everybody. Tell me about.
I don't want to know about his family. That's not my business.
Yes, it is. Those are the ones. Those are the ones that call you, man. Those are the ones that. If you're in a situation where it's high pressured and you're a hiring manager, you have to understand that the people that are in that position are stressed out, and you want to be that one recruiter that when they get your call, they're not going to be stressed out. Addition to what they're doing the rest of the day, they want to have a decent conversation with a decent person, and then the rest will come. Patience is the key.
Well, hey, animal.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting that a recruiter that doesn't demand payment at day 55 for a candidate who got fired is a sucker?
I'm saying that lots of recruiters would say that's absolutely true, and lots of corporate recruiters would say don't put a bad mark in their review because of it. Okay, and they would say, look. I don't want to say Rich Rosen, but wouldn't Rich Rosen, a big biller, say, look, I can't be responsible for the management skills of the manager. Why blame me?
Hold on. You're saying that that's the reason the person didn't work out.
Well, we don't know.
For whatever reason,
right. Look, Hershey just said, like, I didn't know how to fix the problem. Okay, there's a problem that I should have been able to fix, but I didn't know. I'm responsible. I'll pay the fee.
And legally, he was entitled to it, and I wouldn't have blamed him if he asked it. But the fact that he didn't increased our relationship, increased my trust in him, And that's what drove a lot more business to him over the years.
Okay. I want to get to the referral question. We're guys closing up on time. I'm always enjoying these shows now. I like the Zoom a lot. But look, Hershey, what about culture? That's one of the things I wanted to tell you. You say he wasn't a culture fit. There was a generational friction or something like that. Can you describe that? How does somebody say, oh, culture? If there's never any checklist, how do you know what the culture? If you're a job hunter in your book, do you tell job hunters figure out the culture first and this is how you do it?
I do have that in chapter 3 on interviewing and chapter 2 and working.
Well, do you have the verse number as well? Go ahead.
you got to buy the book to get that information.
Yeah, okay.
And this is a mistake that companies make. It is on the company, on the corporate recruiters. They say, here's a laundry list. You need X years of this. You need to know these tools. You need to know this. And it's very objective. Oh, do you have 7 years of this? Do you know this tool? They do not talk about the other skills and attributes. When they say we want a strong communicator, if you ask them what does that mean, they don't know. If you ask them about the culture and they give some BS terms like, oh, we're fun, we're easy to work with, they do not do the effort to understand who they really are. And this is how
work hard, play hard.
Yeah, that's the standard one. Go ahead. Okay,
We're
why did he screw up?
Family environment.
Hershey just told us, he confessed everybody late in the show, okay, that he screwed up on this culture issue, okay? Why?
20 years ago, yes.
Why did you read the candidate wrong?
I wasn't sophisticated enough to even understand thinking about culture back then.
What are you doing differently now? How would you have avoided that mistake? Is that a good question, everybody? That's a good question.
That's
a
great question. So the big issue back then, I was working, this is during the dot-com era, this is 2000. I had a whole bunch of kids who were right out of school or dropouts, no professional experience. That's just, we're coding 80 hours a week. And this was some guy with about 15 years experience who said, no, we have to actually test, we have to plan. And the rest of them, no, we just code, get it out fast, don't worry about bugs. That was a misfit. Now I understand training.
Is that a cultural issue or a technical issue? That's a technical approach to problem solving. That's not culture.
It's a culture of, very simple culture. Do you move fast and say, we
fail fast? Isn't that agile? Fail fast. Isn't that agile?
And yeah, but you know who's not agile? The code for the space shuttle. It took them 6 months to change one line of code.
Yeah, well, they had a few problems. Their problems are visible to everybody. I want to do another ad, and then I want to get to the referral question. And since Kendra thought it was nice to finally join us in person, if she's got a question, I'll give her a chance. But she doesn't have to have a question. Settle your debts. What is it? What's this? I can't remember. You know what? He was talking about these great, hiring managers. But I'll tell you, there's hiring managers who reject your candidates and then they hire them behind your back. It's called backdoor hires. Backdoorhires.com. And what's I can't remember the URL, but you'll get the company, backdoorhires.com. That software that tells you when they steal your candidates. And they've also got a collection service that specifically serves agency recruiters. And they go after these CTOs who aren't as nice as Hershey, okay? Hershey's an honest guy, I can tell. Anyway, and so Wilson Cole, the boss there, he said, oh, well, sometimes they make a mistake. They don't really steal your guy, but he'll find it anyway, okay? And he'll collect the money for you. Wilson Cole, go to backdoorhires.com. I'm sorry, I can't remember their other URL offhand. And our guest is plugging something. I got to admit it, he came here because he's plugging his book, but he said, I don't even care if we don't talk about the book. I just want to share with recruiters how awful they are and what they're doing wrong so they can improve the business world. Okay. That's what he came here, just as to deliver the good news. Okay. So, but he's got a book. Let's talk about it. What's the name of the book? And give your little small spiel for it, please.
The Career Toolkit, Essential Skills for Success That No One Taught You. It's on career planning, leadership, networking, negotiations, communication, stuff that will make you a better recruiter and can also help your candidates be more successful in their career, letting them earn more and getting you more when you place them.
Kendra used to be a professional DJ. He's got a pretty good voice for that. Don't you think, Kendra? Yes or no? Oh, it's a no. It's a no.
He did a nice pitch. He did a nice pitch.
Okay.
I want to know, since you loathe the internal recruiters, if there's anything in that book that could make me, better.
Yeah, I talk about what we were saying earlier, how to do job descriptions, where yes, you do list out, you need to know these 7 things, but also think about when you say a strong communicator, what does that mean? Does that mean communicates well in emails, verbally? Does that mean with their own team, with other teams? Does that mean externally? Be more explicit about this when you say communication or leadership. Understand what are the cultural aspects. There was one company that tried to hire me, and I said, look, I can come here. I think it's an interesting challenge. I'm going to be a bull in a china shop. I'm probably going to piss people off because I move quickly. I'm a startup guy and you're a staid company. Do you want me in here? They didn't put this in a job description or looking for this or that. They said, oh, we didn't think about this.
No, I talked to the candidates. A couple things. I work in a very incestuous niche industry.
I don't think incest is a good word for this show, okay? It's kind of racy. Go ahead.
What, incestuous?
Yeah.
It's better that you say we eat our own.
Yeah, but if they don't know 5 people in the company already, I can already tell they're not a culture fit, pretty much. If they don't already have that mix. But also I'm a sales recruiter, by the way, Michael, these days. And if they are not ready to be numbers driven and talk about quota and work in a harsh, quarterly numbers cycle, I can tell them right now it's not going to work. So there's a lot of questions that I ask in terms of their success. What were their challenges? Well, how'd you do last quarter? What do you do when how did you pivot during COVID? So I can hear whether they're that driven go-getter hunter or not.
I like how Kendra's looking off to the side a little bit. It looks really cool.
I've got 2 monitors. I'll look over here.
Kendra,
I'm looking at resumes on the other monitor. Forgive me.
You're giving a good example that the other thing recruiters have to do, whether you're internal, whether you're a hiring manager, external recruiter, when you ask a question, tell me about your sales last quarter. How are they answering it? It's not just, oh, I did this in sales. Are they talking about going to the sales numbers, right? Are they describing it the way you describe it? Are they thinking about the way your company thinks about it? I see in technology, are you customer focused in how you describe the problem? Are you technology focused? Because depending on how my group is, that may or may not be a fit. So you want to look not just the answer, but how they present the answer.
I get done with, if I wouldn't have a beer with this guy, he probably won't work at our company because they have to take clients out. If by 20 minutes I'm ready to get off the phone, I can tell.
See, hold on a sec. There's almost no time. I got to interrupt you. Hershey, if Hershey wants to come back, he's a good guest. I think he can take it. He's not afraid, and
but given how you sold him, he's so much better than you thought.
No. I told him his emails, but back and forth to me were pretty good. I didn't think he was a pompous author at all. But okay, there's a question that came to mind. I don't think we have time for it today, but what about feedback? Like, you can tell she's a tough cookie, Kendra, and I know after a few minutes this guy's useless. How does she deliver that to these people? How does she tell them without, getting this feedback of them going crazy and stuff? That's a question I just want to raise. But I don't know if we have time for it now. Ernie's got the thing about, we put him on hold, okay? About
hang up on him.
Yeah, well, there's like 2 minutes left. We're going to go over time. Sorry, Kendra. We can go over a few minutes if you want, but it's already been like an hour. But what about sending an email then? It isn't even the full question. Sorry, I'm so verbose sometimes. You're saying, okay, Mark, I got a job. It's not for you, but I want to know, maybe you have a friend and you like to do him a favor and recruit him refer him to me. What about an email like that?
It depends on our relationship.
No relationship. First time.
It depends on the field and economy. If it's a bad economy, if I'm in a field where people are desperate for work, yeah, sure. If it's not right for me, I want to help my friends. Fantastic. If it's a field like I'm in now, technology right now, I can tell you, I know no one qualified saying, oh, I wish I could find a job.
Okay, but you're not against it. You're not against it. That's it. You're not against what
I'm totally against it. Because I don't want to do your job. If you're reaching out to me saying, Mark, who do you have for me? It's like, so the hardest part of your job, finding candidates, you want me to do that? Pay me for that. I've got a good network. You want access to it? And
what if he offers to give you $3,000 if he makes a placement?
My rate is minimum $20,000 because I know what these people are. If you want that, you're going to be making well into the 5 figures from these folks.
Okay. So we got that. Jerry's. Any questions from you, Jerry? Quickies? No. And Michael G. Cox is screwing me up. Jerry was twisting his camera all around, tried to make me seasick. Okay, I have one more ad to do. And, really, it's a good thing I haven't billed him yet, because this is like at the very end of the show. Honeit, HONEIT.com. The online interview technology. You and the candidate talk, it records everything, turns it into a searchable transcript, it's audio recording, video recording, and not only that, when you ask the essential question, the important questions, you can turn those into clips. You just press a button before you ask the question. When the candidate's finished telling his or her story, you press another button. It's nice and compact, and you ship it over, and it's encrypted. You send it over to the hiring manager or anybody in the hiring community. Honeit, HONEIT.com. Kendra, we'll finish with you in a second. I want to give him a chance to plug his book before we go off. What's the name of your book again?
The Career Toolkit, Essential Skills for Success That No One Taught You. You can find it at thecareertoolkitbook.com. The negotiation chapter alone will pay for the book, as it makes you a better negotiator.
Okay, he told us, we said where before. I said, what kind of training you should get? You should have said, my book. Just read that chapter, okay?
Other resources as well. It doesn't have to be my book, but my book will help you as well.
Okay. Kendra, I had the feedback question in relation to you. We'll put that to the side. Did you have anything else in relation to what you were talking about? Anything? No?
No, there are good recruiters out there. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, that doesn't sound too positive either. Okay, now you guys have taken control, I think, of the recording, or can I turn it off as well? I can stop it as well. I want to thank Hershey. Hershey, you can come back anytime. We're here every week, and we'll even make you a guest again if you want to. The fabulous Michael G. Cox. Jerry, he's gone already. He graced us with a visit. Kelly didn't want to talk, but I said, hire Kelly. You should have given yourself a plug on the show, Kelly.
What's your email address, man? I can't connect with you on LinkedIn.
Me?
It shut down.
I don't give out publicly because I get spam, but
I have it,
find you.
but I won't give it to you. Okay.
Okay, no worries, man.
Now I just found out he's in Chicago, Ernie Marino, the food industry recruiter, and he doesn't have a good URL. I haven't bought one for him yet, maybe in the future. And fabulous Kendra, the sales recruiter. Anything else you want to do for a pitch for yourself? You want to plug yourself some? Okay, that's it. She poses. Hershey.
I said I was looking afar.
Thank you, Hershey. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Good show, Mark.